POV Italian Cooking, where you see cooking from my point of view. Today we are going to make a ragu with some pappardelle pasta. I love making ragu. It's very full of flavor, very rich. You can pretty much use any ground meat to make a ragu. Today we're going to be using some mild Italian sausage and some lamb. So let's get started and take a look at our ingredients. Let's take a look at the ingredients for our ragu. Of course, we always start with olive oil. Today we're using a Bellucci Tuscan olive oil, salt, pepper. Our meats for our olive, okay, I'm going to restart. Okay, restart. Let's take a look at our ingredients for our ragu today. Now this is a sofrito based ragu, so with any sofrito we're going to use 1 carrot, 1 stalk of celery, probably going to use about half of this onion, and we're going to use probably 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. Also with our ragu, we're going to use 1 can of the Cento San Marzano tomatoes. We'll run those through our food processor. Our fresh herbs for today, we're going to use sage and rosemary. We're going to, of course, salt, pepper, a good Tuscan olive oil. We are going to put some wine in this, probably about a cup of our Gabbiano Chianti. And we're going to be using a pappardelle. With a ragu, with any of your chunky, meaty sauces, you want to use a nice wide pasta. Now let's take a look at our meats. We have about a half a pound of thick cut pancetta. We're going to dice this up. We have about a pound of lamb. And we have about a pound of Italian sausage. This is a mild Italian sausage, and we're going to take these out of our casings as well. So, okay, we're going to get started on our vegetables for our sofrito. Again, we're going to use about half of this onion. We're going to slice up our carrot and our celery, and we're going to mince our garlic. So let's get started. Boom! Vegetables cut up. What we've got again, celery, carrot, onion, and diced up our garlic. Next thing we're going to do is talk about our herbs and get those ready to go. So we're going to get all this out of the way, get reset, and we'll be right back. I've removed the leaves from the sage and the rosemary stems. We're going to give these a light chop. Now this does seem like a lot of herb, and it really is, but what we're going to do is we're going to start with a little bit, and we're going to add more until we get to the flavor level that we want. We have a half a pound of thick cut pancetta. We're going to cut this up in cubes because we're going to render the fat out of this kind of early on so the fat can act as one of our seasonings for the rest of our dish. So we're going to cut this up in cubes like so. So we have our pancetta ready. We're going to put that in a bowl, put it aside. And we're going to go ahead and mix together the rest of our meat. So I have my ground lamb in a bowl. We are going to remove this Italian sausage from the casing, like so. Just slice it up the middle and just pull the sausage right out. I've repositioned back over to my stovetop. So the first thing we're going to do is put in our Bellucci Tuscan olive oil. Just put a good, I don't know, 2-3 tablespoons in the bottom of your pan. And we are going to start rendering out the fat from our pancetta. Again, we've got about a half a pound of pancetta. And we're just going to let this cook a few minutes. I'm not going to let it get all the way crisp because I am going to add my vegetables and it'll finish crisping up with the vegetables. So I'm going to get this going. We'll be right back. As you can see, our pancetta, the fat's been rendered out. It's just starting to look a little crispy. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get our garlic and our vegetables in here. We're going to let this cook for about 10 minutes because we want our vegetables to soften. I'm going to give it just a little bit more olive oil, give it some more liquid. We're going to let this go 8 to 10 minutes until our onions become translucent and our vegetables begin to soften. So we're going to let that happen. We'll be right back. Alright, I've added our meat. We're just going to chop this up and let it brown. As soon as it's brown, we'll start adding some other ingredients. Okay, our meat is brown. Now we are going to deglaze with about a cup or so of a good Chianti. And I always say a cup or so because we're going to probably use a little more than a cup, so we add a little bit more or so. And of course, we got to have some Chianti for our dish and some Chianti for us. So we're going to set that right there. First, take a little drink. Now what we're going to do is we are going to let this cook until we can no longer smell the alcohol. Then we're going to add some more ingredients. So I'm going to let this cook for just a couple minutes. We'll be back. Okay, the alcohol has evaporated, so it's time to add the rest of our ingredients. Now what we're going to do first is we're going to add some of our seasoning. We used Italian sausage, so be easy with the seasoning because your Italian sausage already has some sage and fennel in it. That was a mild Italian, so it didn't have a lot. So I'm going to start with, we'll say about that much sage. Add our rosemary as well. That feels about right. Salt. Good bit of salt. We like that good salty flavor. Now our pepper. Get all this stirred together. Let's get our seasoning stirred in there. I feel like we just need a little bit more sage here. So let's put that in there again. You remember when you're cooking, especially Italian, you go with your gut. Alright, so now we've got our seasonings mixed together. Time to add our tomato sauce. What I did is I took our can of Cinto San Marzano tomatoes. Whoops. Put them in our food processor. And this may not be, we'll see if I don't think it's tomatoey enough, I'm going to add more. And right now I'm feeling like it's not. Now, if you're going to add canned tomatoes, you want to do it at the beginning of your cooking because you have to cook out that tinny taste. It kind of has a little, it does get some taste from the can. And see, this to me doesn't look like it has enough tomato, so I'm going to go ahead and put some more tomato in it. Now we're to the easy part of cooking. Now we just let this simmer for about 45 minutes to an hour. It's going to thicken. All of our herbs are going to just kind of come out. It's going to be great. So again, I want mine a little more tomatoey. We're just going to let it simmer. Okay, our ragu has been simmering now for about an hour, so we're getting ready to drop our pasta. Now the ragu, I tasted it, I added a little bit more salt. It was still missing something, so I put a little bit of red pepper flake in there, and boy, that just livened it right up. Now our water, I got our water boiling. You want to use a very heavily salted water. Now we're going to use this pappardelle pasta. There's a little bit more than a pound. We're just going to drop it all in there. Now we want it to be good and al dente. This pasta, it will be al dente in 6 minutes. You want that good chew because we're actually going to finish it over here in our ragu for a few minutes and let it finish by soaking up all that flavor. So drop your pasta, 6 minutes, and we'll be right back. Okay, our pappardelle is done. It's still got a pretty good chew to it, which is exactly how we want it. So all we're going to do is we're going to take it and put it right into our ragu. Alright, I've got all my noodles in my ragu. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of mix them in there real slow. Okay, I've let this set for just a couple minutes. What we're going to do, we're going to get this plated up, put a little bit of Parmesan cheese over top of it, then we're going to do our tasting. So we'll be right back. Okay, we have our pappardelle ragu plated up, a little bit of Parmesan cheese over it. Let's give this a shot. I left the noodles real al dente so that way they could soak up all this wonderful flavor.
It's good.
Wow. The sausage and the lamb came together, real rich flavor. The sage and the rosemary are coming through. It really needed that red pepper flake that I added. Of course, a good red wine. Incredible, incredible. So, thank you so much for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and now Snapchat. Most importantly, click that subscribe button on YouTube. Again, thanks for watching, and ciao!